Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joines, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Mr. Tate Mathews. Tate, fall sports, golf specifically, getting into the home stretch, and obviously some of our other sports as well are getting down there too.
Yep, there was a time, 5, 6, 7 weeks ago where they said we weren't even going to have sports. If we do, we're never going to make it. Here we are. Golf's about to wrap up. Volleyball and soccer are winding down, and we're halfway through football. I'd say we've done a pretty good job.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers
we keep
crossed.
it going. Hey, let's talk a little volleyball before we get into football. Brentwood, and I'm amazed at how many times I've seen this. They get a 3-2 win over Ravenwood. By the way, that's only 87 straight district matches. They win the last 2 sets after being down 2-1, 25-20, 15-12. But I've seen them down 2-1 like a lot. But they just seem to come back and win. And by the way, I want to get the exact stats on this. They were without and have been without for a while 4 starters.
Yes.
And their only loss was to
Nolensville.
That's right, during that time. Pretty impressive.
Very impressive. But they are the program. I mean, not surprising. Impressive, but not surprising, right?
Well, and what ends up happening, I think, is this. I think we talked about this maybe either off air or last week. Now that players are getting back, you're probably better for it.
I would think so. I was going to say that, but then they've won 7 in a row. So, I don't know that it matters. I don't remember this happening before. So I was going to say that, and then I was like, that's stupid, man. They've won 7 in a row.
You know what I like about Coach Campbell? I like a lot of things about Coach Campbell. But
She's a competitor, I know that.
I like the fact that she hasn't called, she hasn't whined about it, she hasn't pulled out of tournaments, she hadn't tried to reschedule a bunch of matches. She's just doing her thing.
That's right. And,
I read where, I think I wasn't Oldham, it was one of her players said something like, I may mess this up, but I'd rather not
lose
not
than
breathe.
Be a coward.
No, not breathe than lose or something like that.
The kid said that, or Coach Campbell said that?
She said that about Coach Campbell. Like we say, we would rather, and I may have messed that up. It may be something like way more innocent than that, but it was something to the effect of, we would rather not breathe than lose.
Would it be wrong to make a T-shirt of that with that on the back?
I don't know if we could pull that off or not. Hey, by the way, you heard about the big tournament there at Summit this past weekend. Warren Riker did a good job of getting that thing together. Held at the TOA complex, by the way, formerly known as A-Game. There were going to be over 50 teams in every state champion from Tennessee. They ended up with only 30 teams and a one-day tournament.
Still pretty strong.
Strong. 7 out of the top 10 teams in Tennessee were there. Brentwood, Page, Nolensville, and Summit added a little local flair. Hazel Green, Alabama, which is a big-time program, was there. Summit and Page go 2-0 in pool play. Then they lose in bracket play. And who ends up in the final? Brentwood, Nolensville. It goes all the way to a third set. Brentwood wins, and more of a full team. I think they still got one player out. 16-14. And oh, by the way, Nolensville had defeated Houston as well. So I'm really impressed with what Coach Young's doing there at Nolensville.
Of course, and it's all intentional, and it's going to pay so many dividends down the road. But they don't get tested a whole lot in the region. It just is what it is, and so this is great for them. Yep, you're right, great. And great for Coach Young, not worried about we want to go undefeated or whatever. He wants to win another state championship. And I think this is the way. You went through that at Beach. You've seen that. There's guys that go 29-0 and then they get to the sectionals or sub-state or they get to Murfreesboro and get thumped. Wouldn't you rather have 9 losses?
Sure. Well, I think what happens, that's pretty typical of a younger coach, that you're just piling up wins. And not that Coach Young is inexperienced, but he hadn't been the head coach in volleyball very long, right? And he already knows, let's try to get beat. Not that you want to lose, but it's making them better. And I'm just telling you this. I mean, Brentwood's obviously won in the county. I'm telling you, right behind them is Nolensville.
Yeah, I think you're right.
No doubt about it. Let's talk a little soccer, Tate. Independence and Ravenwood with a 1-1 tie. Franklin over Summit 4-1. And then here's a biggie. Centennial, Coach Williams in her first year doing a good job, and Brentwood was full strength for this game. Now, they only had one practice together, to be fair to them. But really, if you're talking about what the Centennial program's gone through the past few years, I don't care if they were half strength, fourth strength, hadn't practiced all year. That is a really nice win for that Centennial program to beat Brentwood 3-1.
You nailed it. That's exactly right. Anytime Centennial gets a win over them in soccer, I don't care what the circumstances are, that's big. And she's played there, so I think that's good. You would hope all coaches take pride in their program and their school and what they're doing, but it means a little bit more to her. And she's brought some enthusiasm into the program, and like you said, that's a big win, man.
It is. First half, Centennial, Jenna Drobny, Brentwood's Mason Wells each scored goals. Then in the second half, Declan Loring of Centennial scores, backed up by an Ava DiStefano goal. We know that name, right, from the Wilcos.
That's right.
So 3-1 win, again, very impressive. Congratulations. And that was their first district win of the season. To get it over the state runner-up from last year and a team that's expecting to go deep again this year is pretty impressive.
That's right. Yep, they're on the right track. Hopefully she stays and we keep this momentum going.
Golf, as we speak, the district tournament's being played at the Franklin Bridge Golf Course. We'll have information about that next week, so good luck. And by the time this airs, it'll be congratulations to someone.
Coach Craig feels we saw him Friday night. Teddy Craig, he's got a little chip on his shoulder, a little pep in his step. I'd look out for Ravenwood.
I'm going to be surprised if they don't come out on top, for sure on the boys' side, maybe the girls' side too.
That'd be pretty cool.
Mr. September.
Mr. September.
/ we can't really give him October. I mean, it's Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, that's a big statement. That might be like copyright.
Cross country, big meet in Huntsville, Alabama this past weekend, the Southern Showcase. On the boys' side, and by the way, the Vanderkolks.
I was going to say, do you just cut and paste this? I know you don't.
It's incredible.
You could.
It's incredible. Repeat last week. Kevin Vanderkolk finished third overall. And listen to this, his personal best on that course, he took third place overall, 15:06. Think about that, 15:06. And here's what got me. A 36-second improvement over his previous career best, which was the week before. Yeah. Now, I know there's courses and maybe that's flat, I don't know,
right.
But I'm 36 seconds.
I was going to ask, we need to get across, that's our homework assignment. We need a cross-country expert. Like, how does that happen? That's a big cut. It's not like this guy was not very good, and then, I would love to know how that's possible. It's got to be a big part of the course.
Well, and I'm assuming he ran in that race last year.
Right.
So at a minimum, 36 seconds in a year is pretty impressive. Brentwood on the boys' side finishes 6th overall. The top team to finish from Tennessee was Franklin, 3rd overall. Again, they don't have guys. I think their top guy was maybe 13th.
But they point them.
But they really do. You take those, top 5 runners, I think it is, and Franklin just keeps on rolling.
Yep.
But they did last year during the season, too. Independence finished 8th. Again, on the girls' side, Brentwood won the team title, and again, that's a big-time event. Here's what I was impressed with. Vanderkolk 2nd, Brooke Till 3rd, Peyton Strauss 5th. 3 runners in the top 5. Yep. They win the team title.
You'll win most team titles.
Don't care if it's in Huntsville, Oakville,
that's right.
Sanders Ferry,
Shackle Island.
Wherever it's at, you're probably going to win.
Hey, our old buddy up in Gallatin knows where Saunders Ferry is. Wonder how his ears are doing.
Bleeding?
Captain Vacation Bible School Camp.
Who? Okay, let's move on. Franklin finished 3rd in that meet. Also, Independence and Centennial boys and girls were both represented in that meet. Now, here's something I saw on Twitter that I thought was interesting. And it got my attention because Independence, because of who? Were those young ladies used to run at Independent, the Koger?
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Koger?
Well, it was.
Is that right?
Kroger, wasn't it?
Is it Kroger?
Kathy Kroger, I think.
Yeah. Kroger, that's where I go shopping.
Well, there's an E in there, an extra E, but yes.
Now listen, I don't feel bad not knowing that because I wasn't even here.
You weren't here yet. You were up at Saunders Ferry or Shackle Island.
But here's...
I think Gatorade Runner of the Year.
Okay, but get this about it. So they're saying, again, this is according to their Twitter site, which is, I'm assuming, run by the coach, the fastest collective team in the school history at this point. The current top 5 runners are all in the top 15 in the school's history. Now that's saying something.
Without a doubt.
And they didn't finish first or third or sixth. I don't know exactly where they finished in that meet, but I thought that was pretty impressive and speaks to the talent here in WCS.
I know it's not, but that could be a gem. That definitely could have been a gem.
Dang it, the gym's good, but you're right, that might have been better.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's talk football. Game recaps week 5. This is a game that you and I attended. Brentwood 28 at Ravenwood 21 in overtime. Battle of the Woods never disappoints, Tate, and it certainly didn't this year.
It did not. Went to overtime. We got free football, and man, what a great game. There was times in the first half and the second half, Brentwood's winning this game. Not Ravenwood's winning this game. Oh, it's over. Ravenwood's winning this game. And then Brentwood takes the lead. Ravenwood keeps fighting, gets in, has to score a 2-point conversion to get it into overtime, and they do, and then came down to the last play. So it blows my mind. Seriously, now you think about this. They've played 21 times, and Brentwood has 11-10. Going into that game, it was 10-10. I don't think you can find another rivalry like that anywhere. I mean, that it's that even. 10-10. They've played 20 games, and it was 10-10. Now it's 11-10.
Well, that early in the rivalry, because you think about it, when the schools broke off,
right,
you're assuming that Brentwood's going to dominate for a little bit, because that usually happens when a school is new.
Correct.
Don't win quite as much, but yeah, it's been pretty special. And 3rd straight win in the regular season, which has meant 3 straight region titles, which, even though I think that was their first region game, I still think Brentwood's in the driver's seat now.
Got to be. I mean, I think Independence is better. I was going to say better than what people think. I think people have caught on. They're pretty good. But I still think you got to have Brentwood as the favorite. So you're right, driver's seat, and it's going to be interesting, man. But they played really well, and Mr. Granzow had another big night. I know you're going to give his stats, but he now, in the last 2 weeks, has 11 total touchdowns.
I'm telling you.
You're going to win some games.
I almost feel like Mr. Granzow or somebody in his family or friends watch this show, because a few weeks ago you were pumping Trevor Andrews, which was well-deserved.
I might have made him mad.
And we were talking about him being similar, and you said he's going to be a Mr. Football semifinalist, and then Granzow has gone off.
He said, okay.
The past couple of weeks. I mean, we're giving credit to this show. I bet he didn't even know it exists, actually.
Maybe.
Probably. We'll ask him when
his dad does. He doesn't. Here's another thing why I'm on it, and these are people I really respect. But you and I could help these people. There's some people out there. It's Granzow.
Yes.
I keep hearing on the TV and Granzow. There's a W on the end of it. Zow. Pronounce it correctly, please.
Well, do your research.
Kind of like
you got to do the research when somebody's good.
Mariota and Mario. Pronounce it right. It's not that hard.
Now, I know I'm going to read Granzow's stats real quick, and I know you want to give a special shout out too. I almost thought this was a misprint. 32 carries.
Yeah.
32 carries, 112 yards, 3 scores, and also completed 13 of 25 passes for 113 yards in the overtime. And we won't get into too deep into the specifics, but both teams take over on the 10, and you've got 4 plays to score, and then if it's tied, you do it again and all that kind of stuff. But Brentwood scores on play number 3. Granzow takes it in. And then Ravenwood gets the ball back on 4th down, a pass from Andrews. I don't know if it was controversial or not, but Johnston, I don't know if he was trying to sell it, Ross Johnson, that he caught it. I thought clearly it hit the ground, personally. I don't know if you've seen another angle besides the one that's on Twitter, but I thought it hit the ground.
I did too. It did hit the ground.
Well, according to the ref, it did, so really that's all that matters.
Right.
And your special shout-out was to?
Man, here's the deal. We thought this. We went to the Brentwood Academy game too, right? And we thought that going into this game, for Brentwood to be able to win, they were going to have to control the line of scrimmage. And they did. Control's not the right word. They didn't dominate it, but they controlled it. And there you go. You see Granzow, 32 carries for 112 yards. But the offensive line, they're kind of special to me, right? Sam Beasley, Elliott Chafin, Mason Mitchell, Luke Connor, Josh Mondalewski, and then the tight ends, Aaron Walton and Jacob Davis. Game ball's got to go to those guys because we know how good that front seven is for Ravenwood. And if they hadn't have played the way they played, that thing doesn't go to overtime. That's a Ravenwood victory. And shout out to Coach Gabe Evans. I don't think he gets enough credit either. He does a lot for that program, but as an O-line coach, he's still relatively a young coach, doing a really good job, man. So shout out to the O-line. I don't know if Coach Crawford does game balls. I know kind of a no-brainer to Granzow, but if it's me, I'm Mr. Granzow, which he probably did, I'm turning around and giving that game ball to that O-line.
Ravenwood, Trevor Andrews, 9 of 23, 111 yards, one touchdown in the first half, a 53-yard touchdown pass to Jake Brenningstool. Cole Hollingsworth, special teams, a couple of field goals, 25 and 32 yards. Now, this week's gym, Ravenwood, 2 consecutive losses for the first time since 2016. That's pretty strong right there. Shows you what kind of program that is. And oh, by the way, IMG's coming to town. I hope we're not looking up the last time they had 3 consecutive. That's going to be a tough matchup, but I give it to Coach Daniels. I guarantee you they're going into that game thinking we can win this game.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the last time 3 consecutive was before Hester got there. It hadn't been since then.
Probably when we were talking about the beginning of the rivalry, right?
No, there was the beginning of the rivalry, and then the Rector years, and then there were a couple of lean years, and then Coach Hester got there, and it's been all up here since. So
incredible.
Yep. But again, we talk about it all the time. Shout out to Coach Daniels. How many people would the Battle of the Wood? I'm still sticking with that, by the way. Who else would sandwich the Battle of the Wood between Pulaski Academy and IMG? I love it.
I do too. And the thing about it, let's face it, they go 3-3, they're not going to lose many more.
No.
So they're going to get that. I mean, we're not saying.
And this team might need it, man. This team might need to be challenged,
I like their demeanor, by the way. When I watch them play, because I watched them last year too, I like last year's too, but I don't know. There's something about the way they go about their business that I really like.
Yeah. And my man, Andrews did a lot of good stuff. I mean, let's not forget, there are a lot of people that are picking Brentwood to win or be in Cookeville this year. So he's going to be fine. Don't forget, 1, we're playing really good teams. 2, he's been a receiver up until this year. He's going to be fine.
I've got some decisions to make too, Tate. So I picked, here's what I was thinking going in, because this worked out for me last year. Brentwood regular season I picked, Ravenwood in the postseason. So this year, I'll just be honest, going in I was thinking Ravenwood regular season, Brentwood
playing
postseason.
Your hand a little bit.
So I'm saying I don't know what I'm going to do now. It's be hard to say somebody could beat Ravenwood twice.
It's going to be tough. And, let's see.
They got to get there.
Let's see where we are health-wise by
right.
the time it gets to that.
A lot of ball to be played.
Yep.
Big matchup, also in the league, not only in WCS, but in 6 AAA. Independence 21 versus Franklin 7. Independence now 1-1 in the league. Franklin 0-2, and that pretty much not guarantees, but sort of guarantees that Independence will finish ahead of Franklin, because if they end up tied in the loss column, then Independence wins because of the head-to-head matchup. I looked at the stats, and they were fairly close. First downs, 19-20 in favor of Franklin. Total yards, 362 to 267. Independence wins there. No fumbles by either team, which I thought was a pretty clean game. And really, I thought this was okay, especially for a high school game. 14 total penalties, not bad.
No.
Not bad
combined,
at all.
No.
And then
Well, and the great thing is they were all small ones, only 110 total penalty yards.
Time of possession, fairly even. Franklin wins at 25-30 to 22-30. The difference was Jackson Campbell. And he's been the difference in most of these games. 12 of 27, 180 yards and a touchdown. Rushing, 19 carries, 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he has 15 touchdowns on the year. I'm telling you, he's in that argument to be player of the year in WCS.
Without a doubt. I mean, we got some really good quarterbacks this year. And the thing about all of them this year is they're all runners. Garcia was a scrambler. These guys are runners.
Flutie-esque.
Flutie-esque. God, I love that guy, man. But But Andrews, you know, he's getting 13, 15 carries for over 100 yards. Jackson Campbell's getting 19. Grant Sal, 32. But, man, no, I mean, he's an athlete, man. And here's the thing. He plays defense.
Yeah.
And he returns kicks.
It's incredible.
You got to love that about Coach Blade, too. I mean, who's going to put him back there? Well, one, if you kick to him, you're a moron. But putting him on defense, that's tricky to do. But no, he's a playmaker. The difference in this game was big plays. It was 21-7. We knew Franklin needed to control the time of possession, but Independence scores the first offensive possession, the first offensive play of the first half, and then they score on the first drive of the second half, and then in the second quarter got a second Jackson Campbell touchdown. So they had two big plays that really ended up biting them. They couldn't generate enough offense, but so if you're Franklin, that's it doesn't make it taste any better going down, but it wasn't like they got dominated,
No, not at all.
It was really a contest outside of about 2-3 plays, and then for Coach Blade and Independence, it's easier to correct those things, but they got to get more consistent,
River Katina with 2 interceptions for Independence.
Well, those Katinas are athletes.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Connor Bevan, another solid game for Franklin, 144 yards passing, 51 rushing. DJ Durham, you mentioned that touchdown in the first half that cut the lead to 14-7. We have a streak, Tate.
And I'm so happy.
Centennial 22, Dixon 14. That's 2 straight now for the young Cougars, 1-2 in the league. That matchup with Franklin in a couple of weeks is looming again as the game to determine that 4th playoff spot.
Man, and I know we can't, but that's always where we always have game day at the Battle of Franklin, and Coach Kreisky and Coach Webb have not disappointed. I'm gonna miss that. Coach Webb about broke the table.
No, he
Jeremy's.
did.
Was that?
He did break the table. he didn't almost break. I was helping you guys. He didn't. He didn't almost break it.
That was the unveiling of the T-shirt cannon. He broke the table, man.
No, the T-shirt cannon was last year. But
he flat went Mick Foley, WWE. Is that all you got?
It was great.
It was great. I'm going to miss that, but great win for them. Josh Forsey is becoming a force. 23 carries, 265 yards. He had a touchdown reception also from Jones. Jones is getting better. We talked about it. He's just a sophomore. Carter Plowman he's their utility knife. Got to find ways to get him the ball. And they did.
Don't you think that Jones is kind of settling in as the quarterback? They're sort of splitting it up, but Jones is younger also, right, which I think maybe gives him the nod.
Yeah, that's the way it needs to be. But, playing quarterback's tough. It's really tough as a sophomore. I don't care who you are. But you're right. He's getting more comfortable, and that's good because you need both of them on the field.
Here's what I liked about this game, especially for a young team. Now, Coach Kreisky might not have liked this at the time, but in hindsight, maybe he does. They're up 14-0. Then it gets tied. And you would think for a young team, maybe that's not good mentally. But they hang in there. They score with 6:22 to go. That was a touchdown pass from Jones to Carter Plowman that broke the tie. And I thought it was interesting. I meant to ask Coach Kreisky this. They go for 2. It's not like their kicker's a poor kicker. He had both extra points, but then they go for 2, and they win 22-14. I'm not sure what the thinking was there, but I wish I would have asked him before the show.
Yep, we need to. That's another homework assignment.
Let me get I don't even know what the first one was, but I want to make it look like.
I'll remember. It'll come back to me.
We'll watch the replay. Nolensville, 48. Lawrence County, 19. Nolensville now 3-1, 2-0 in the league, and I'm sure you were proud of our man, weren't you?
I was dang proud of him. I think I need to be his agent. Samson Johnson, 4 touchdowns. But here's what I was more impressed with. I think he had 26 carries, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's older. He can handle more carries, handle more of a workload. And shout out to my man Kobe Walton, Ryder Gallardi. It seems like he's been the quarterback there for the last 10 years. He still is. Ryder did not play Friday night. Kobe steps in as a sophomore, 12 for 20, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And what do those 2 players have in common, by the way? Johnson.
Both sophomores.
Yes.
Nolo's not going anywhere.
No, the cupboard's not bare.
No.
And, you know, I give you credit. You were on the Samson Johnson train. So he's one of those guys, he's a touchdown maker.
He is.
That's just what he does. He scores.
I would like to take credit, but
No,
I won't.
take credit.
Coach ate a lot, Ron ate a lot. If Ron ate a lot says he's a dude,
How did he say it, by the way? Like
that kid's one of the best.
when he told you, look, do you have a Ron ate a lot voice?
Yeah, but it's kind of, if you don't know him, it's kind of different. But his funny thing is the way he says stupid. It's stupid. He's stupid. Just telling you, Tater, he's stupid. But he told me in 8th grade, he said, this guy's going to be one of the best that I've coached. Well, you go back to Hillsborough and Riverdale, he's coached some dang good ones. So if Coach A says he's good, that's good enough for me.
And he's coached some championship teams.
That's right.
So it does say a lot.
Captain Ron.
Let's talk about this week's games. Now, we've got a lot of games, so we're just going to
Pumped.
go over these a little bit.
You notice
Uh-oh.
I got something out.
I did notice that. I wonder if that's going to come out for more than one.
It could.
I did notice. Brentwood, 3-1 at undefeated CPA. CPA state runner-up last year, and according to you and a lot of other people, they're better this year.
Yep.
Brentwood won that game last year. Not that last year's scores matter. I just like to always throw that in. 21-14 Brentwood. That's a tough game right there.
Tough game. I love it. I think it's a good game. I think Coach Crawford and Coach Martin get along real well. I think their staffs get along. I think those kids know each other a lot. So I understand scheduling for Coach Crawford's really tough with these non-regions. You know, now Brentwood Academy, CPA, he still has Knoxville Catholic. So I hope that's a game that can continue because I think those two communities get along really well. But I do think it matters because it shows how close these two programs are. But I tell you how Brentwood won it last year, and we've talked about it ever since then. It was a lot like the Ravenwood. Mr. Granzow carried it about 30 times, and that's what they're going to have to do again to beat CPA this year. That's going to be a fun game.
Centennial, 2-3 at Shelbyville, 2-2, and there's a real chance now.
Yeah.
Centennial could get 3 in a row here.
That'd be huge, and no knock on Shelbyville. They got a new coach. They lost a lot of really good players. They're still a good team, but they're not the Shelbyville we've been. You like that? The Shelbyville? That's how they get real. They don't like Shelbyville. They're not the Shelbyville we've grown used to the past 3 years. So you're right. I think they could get 3 wins in a row, and that'd be so big for this Centennial Cougar program.
One of my favorite games of the week.
I love
Fairview, who didn't get to play last week, and they're going to play it this Saturday against 6A Lebanon. And give them credit. And I think they like Lebanon. Lebanon. It's like it's fast.
Yeah.
It's fast when they say it too.
Lebanon.
So they lost 27-10 to Hendersonville last week, but that's a very intriguing matchup.
I love it, and he's going up there to win.
Of course.
So I don't know that this is a good. Maybe Lebanon just needed a game. I don't know, but I don't think this is a good matchup for them. Hey, do you know? Not to put you on the spot. Why are we playing Saturday? Are they playing at the old Lebanon at Cumberland or something?
No, it's the first time that Fairview can play.
Oh, cool.
So they're playing Saturday.
I like it.
Rather than Friday. Franklin versus McGavock. It's game 1. I'm happy about this for McGavock. That'll be their first game of the year with an opportunity to play. We didn't even think they were going to get to play.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about this last week. The Metro schools were trying to schedule a game outside of Metro so their fans could come to the game because when they play there aren't going to be fans.
No fans, no parents, nothing. Cheerleaders and a band.
Sure, that'll be a great atmosphere.
Wow, I guess.
Maybe they can pipe in the fans like they did.
Hey, they did that at the West Virginia game. I liked it.
Yes,
I liked it.
We talked about this last week.
I feel so sorry for that superintendent and those coaches and those kids. Just bad.
We are very fortunate, aren't we?
We are very fortunate. Leaders, man, that's a buzzword a lot of people like to throw around. When you have a good leader, you better be thankful.
Independence, another good matchup. 3-1 versus Hendersonville, 3-2. Hendersonville with a win over Lebanon last week. Their only losses to 2 really good teams, Oakland and Beach. Last year, Independence comes out on top, 31-24. Moving right along, Nolensville, 3-1, goes out of region to play Columbia Central, who's 2-3. Now, Columbia, and I may have said that wrong, they're actually 3-2. Their wins are Spring Hill, Dixon, and Lincoln. I'm just going to
Lincoln was up on them.
I'm just going to let that kind of hang in the air as I eye your attire.
You want to wear it?
I do not, but I just feel like maybe it needs to be worn. Page 1-3 versus Giles County. Giles, their only win is really over Columbia. The other two were the no contest kind of games. So even though Giles is 3-3, they really haven't played games.
Yeah, they're in a region with Metro, so most of their games got canceled.
And the fact that they didn't reschedule games sort of tells me something.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm looking into because I feel like you can reschedule.
No, that's you thinking through the mind of a coach. If he thought he was really good, let's play, right?
Right. Or if you're really, really good, you can't find people to play you.
Right.
But I'm thinking they could have found some people, is what I'm saying.
I agree. I know for a fact, 2 of them they could have found.
2 more games. So we've got 9 games, none against one another. So this is the outside WCS week. Ravenwood, 3-2. We talked about this game earlier, 2-1 in the league versus IMG Academy out of Florida. Oh, by the way, #1 ranked team in max preps nationally. They beat Edgewater last week, the number 28 ranked team, 48-7. And if my calculations were right, they have 9 Power 5 commitments. Ravenwood's got 2, but it's not 9. and I thought this was kind of cool. I don't know if you realize this. It's an ESPN game. It's the first ESPN game in WCS. I'm pretty excited about that.
That's very cool, man. You were at Beach when Beach Station Camp, so
it was on a Sunday.
Sunday, I remember during the day.
Did you go?
No, I sat on a patio my patio and watched it. It was hot.
It was very hot.
Jalen Hurd went off.
And the guy for Station Camp was
Josh Malone.
Yeah. It was a special game.
And if memory serves me correct, Jalen didn't play again.
Never played again.
But he did that game.
Yes, he did.
How cool was that for those kids?
And let me tell you, it didn't hurt attendance. You hear people
No.
talk about it's on TV, it hurts attendance. Attendance was greater.
Yeah.
Plus, you had all these other people wanting to come to the game. It was on a Sunday.
Wanted to be a part of it.
No one else was playing. So you had all these guys from these other teams coming in. It makes a difference. I mean, that's going to be cool for Ravenwood to play on national
Were
television.
you the PA announcer that day? Or
It was at Station Camp.
Oh, dang.
Or I would have been.
Yeah, strong.
Summit, 4-1.
Bow, 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 bow.
1-0 in the league. At Clarksville Northwest, 1-2.
That was Sweet Home Alabama.
So let's just.
Kid Rock.
Yeah, I got
all
you.
summer long. Excuse me.
All right, look, we got to move here. Let's go to Pick'ems. Now, this is the reason I want to go fast. Last week, Mr. Mathews, you were 4-0. The fans and Dr. Qualls were 3-1, and I was bringing up the rear at 2-2. So my comfortable lead is now gone.
Ooh,
Total wins.
Tight.
Qualls, 18 wins.
Oh my goodness.
Mathews and the fans, 20 wins. And I'm still on top, 21, but it's in jeopardy now. So let's go to our picks. And by the way, keep voting out there, fans. Go to Twitter, WCSCO Athletics. WCSCO Athletics, which you see on your screen. All right, here we go, Tate. I'm going to go first. Brentwood at CPA. I'm going Bruins.
They won last year. They got maybe the best player in Williamson County on their team. I think that game I think the Ravenwood game took a lot out of Brentwood. I think they're going to be a little banged up. This is not a region game. The Lions are better this year, but really more of it has to do. I think Brentwood's beat up. I'm going with CPA. Is this called Separation Friday?
It really
I think there's some differences.
It really could be. My pick, Centennial. Actually, it's your pick. Centennial at Shelbyville. I'm going to go Shelbyville. I'm saying the name, Shelbyville.
Shelbyville. Gotcha.
You're picking first.
This is tough, but I think Coach K's got some stuff going here, man. We're going to get about 27, 28 carries to my man Josh Forsey. I'm going with the Cougars, and this will put them at 500. That'd be big. I'm going with Cougars.
I agree with you. Centennial. Right. Fairview at Lebanon. I'm going with.
I know who you're going with.
Fairview's hungry.
Boop, boop.
They haven't played in a couple of weeks. They're fired up. It's going to be a heavy dose of Nardozzi. Those stats are going to be increasing. He's going to be back in that Mr. Football talk. Fairview.
I think this is a great matchup for Fairview. I don't know if this is why Coach Hughes did it, but I think so. Now it looks like we might see a Metro team in the playoffs. Lebanon has a tailback named DeQuante Shannon. He's a dude. He can get it. So this gives them a good look. I think that there's a bigger difference between 6A and 3A than what you're thinking. It has nothing to do with Fairview. I think they're legit. Coach Rathbone told me this is one of the best Fairview teams he's faced. I'm gonna go Lebanon, but I hope I'm wrong.
Wow.
Plus, I want to.
We've got some differences here. I think we're both going to agree here. Franklin, McGavock.
Franklin, and I'm tempted to put my boat captain hat on. The Admirals.
My pick. Independence versus Hendersonville. This is a tough one to pick, but I just think, I feel like I have picked, not picked Independence several times, and they've won, and I think you've done it too. I think we miss Independence more than any game, but I'm picking Indy. I'm going
with Indy too. I will say this. The teams that give Independence the most headache are the wing teams that run it well, but they can't stop them. You look at how many points Hendersonville's given up. Jackson Campbell's going off. Independence, Hendersonville, that is where the game day took place, where our friends in Gallatin first surfaced. So, going with Indy. Our friends in Gallatin.
Nolensville, Columbia Central. What say you, Tate Mathews?
Nolensville. Samson Johnson, another big night.
Nolensville. Page, Giles County. I think this is a tough one. Page is rested.
It's in the Brickyard. It's in Pulaski. If you're going down there, Page, the Hickory House is the meat and three of choice. Go ahead, Coach.
McNamara, getting better every week.
Getting better.
They're getting more experience. I'm going Patriots.
You thought I was going Giles. I think Page wins.
I didn't know for sure, but
Giles has a good tailback. Che McElroy, he's good. But, no, I think Page beats him.
I think maybe you didn't go Giles because of my research on those two games that didn't. I think I should have.
No, I know them.
Okay.
I think Page beats him.
All right, your pick. Ravenwood, IMG Academy.
I hate to do this, man, but, those guys are bringing dudes in from all over the country. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going IMG.
I hate to go IMG too. But
I thought for sure the last host would have gone Ravenwood.
I'm going IMG, but I am going to say this. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be close. I really do. I think Ravenwood's got too much pride, and I think they're going to hang in there. And then our final game, oh captain, my captain, Summit at Clarksville Northwest.
Kid Rock, 40-foot Donsy, all summer long. Coach Coleman head down to Tim's Ford. When the clock is a running clock, Mr. Wade's eating popcorn. He's over there with Coach Brianna Hankins eating popcorn in the third quarter. Coleman's on Tim's Ford Lake before 10 o'clock.
I agree. I'm going Summit. Some of these games our picks should have been based on how many points, the over-under, or one of those kind of things.
I wish I knew what the pundits, they haven't released those yet, have they?
Hadn't been released. Tate, always good to see you. Looking forward to seeing what happens this week.
I can't wait. So, do you know where you're going yet?
Not for sure.
It's going to be hard not to go to that IMG game.
Well, the thing about that is it's an 8 o'clock start, so I might be able to hit a couple. ESPN game is going to be an 8 o'clock start.
No, I know, but...
so I can maybe slide over to another game before.
Do they have one that like an East Coast that's starting earlier?
Not sure about that.
Yeah.
Not sure about
that. It's going to be fun. Hey, man, nobody's expecting you to win that game. Let it
all hang out.
Let's go. And they will. There'll be some trick plays.
No doubt. No doubt. Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.